never too late to get active. Physical activity can help people live independently longer and prevent or better manage chronic diseases.
Yeah, some physical activities even offer older adults opportunities to increase social interaction. So joining me to discuss it this morning, Dr. David Purse, Chief Medical Officer for the City of Houston. We're talking about physical activity later in life, but what age is that, and how does their need for physical fitness change over time?
Well, we all age at slightly different paces, but if you think of elder folks being 65 and older, just as a common reference, people need to think of exercising in three different areas, really. One is you need to get some moderate activity, some aerobic activity. So this is going to be some vigorous walking, maybe playing tennis, yoga, water aerobics, things like that, at least a minimum of 2.5 hours per week. Or if you want to do things which are more vigorous, like jogging and running, jumping rope, or bicycling more than 10 miles an hour, a fast bike ride, then it's only about 1 hour and 15 minutes per week. But that's just the aerobic. You also need to think of strengthening exercise. So this is weightlifting. And it doesn't have to be big, huge, heavy weights. It's just, weightlifting with dumbbells, resistance bands. There are plenty of exercises you can do using your own weight. For example, think of push-ups or chin-ups or planks, things like that. Even just climbing stairs is using your own body weight. So that's the strength training. And then the third thing, which I think is really forgotten and is really, really important as we get older, is balance training. The number one cause of traumatic death for people over the age of 50 is just a simple fall. You can fall and hit your head, you can fall and break a hip, you can fall and break your ribs. So balance training is really important. So simple things like just standing on one foot, walking heel to toe, dancing is a great one for balance, and also Tai Chi. These are really important things for folks. So, I think part of your original question is at what age? Well, some of us are, we use the line of 65, but if you're feeling older than your age, you might want to start paying attention to these things when you're a little bit younger.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thought nobody wants to think about, but anybody is just one fall away from a nursing home. So you really, really don't want to underestimate the importance of balance training. I love that you mentioned weight training, because our whole lives we're thinking about how do we burn calories, but the weight training is so good for your bones. But what if you do have something chronically, you'd mentioned a lot of things that are good for your joints, but what if you have some other chronic disability or condition, diabetes, high blood pressure, something like that? Is there anything that you're not supposed to be doing?
Well, the one thing you're not supposed to do is throw in the towel and quit. That's probably the worst thing that you can do. What you need to do is find those things you can do, and depending on how complicated your situation is, you can talk with your physician and get some ideas. But in particular, people who have heart disease and respiratory illnesses, where with the aerobic exercise, you're going to put a bigger strain on those. You want to check with your doctor. Things like arthritis and other chronic mobility issues can become more complicated. But again, the worst thing you can do is to throw in the towel. So there are, physical therapists. Very often people who've got chronic joint problems have been to physical therapy before, and you can talk to your physical therapist. You'll be amazed at the breadth of exercises that physical therapists have for helping you with your particular problem, becoming more active and staying active. And then the other thing is that for folks with diabetes, which is very, very common, one of the things that people don't always understand with diabetes is that the more you exercise, you can really impact your diabetes, make it less of an issue, because as your muscles become more glucose hungry, they will help keep your glucose levels down. But you got to work those muscles to make them hungry for the sugar to help keep your sugar levels down, and that's really important for diabetics.
Good point. So this week's cold snap, though, we're all going to want to stay inside and not do anything, keep warm. What can people do so that they don't turn into couch potatoes during the cold snap?
Yeah, this is a great question. Here in Houston, we worry about the cold snaps, but I'm originally from Buffalo, New York, so I worry about the heat in the summer. That drives me indoors. So we've got it, here in Houston, we have it at both ends, right? So indoor activity is really very, very easy to do. You can check on the internet. There's, be careful, but you can check on the internet for lots of indoor exercises. I talked earlier about exercises that you can do using your own weight, like the push-ups and the planks and just walking up and down stairs. Those are easily done indoors. But it's important that we keep moving. The other thing is going to gyms. If you can get, if you have a membership to a gym, or if you can get a membership to a gym, and some gyms are expensive and some are really not so expensive, so you need to check. There are people there at the gyms that are really good at helping you, make sure that you have activities that fit your lifestyle, fit your condition, and you can do them indoors. And we got lots of gyms in Houston, so I would recommend people look into that.
Yeah, even when it's cold outside. So Dr. Peirce, before I let you go, just tell us one more time, what are the benefits of staying active late into your life?
So you can really minimize a lot of your, as we get older, we're all going to develop health problems. Hypertension is very common. Respiratory issues are common. Arthritis. If you live long enough, you're going to get arthritis, right? So all of these activities will help minimize the impact of those. And I mentioned diabetes before. So if you do all these exercises, you're going to have a better lifestyle. You're going to be healthier. You're probably going to live quite a bit longer. And to whatever lifespan you have, it'll be a higher quality lifestyle that you have throughout the remainder of your life if you stay active and work, not only your aerobics, but the muscles, and really pay attention to your balance exercises. Keep you from falling, keep you out of the hospital, enjoy life.
You know what? I'm going to add one thing. Mini trampolines for indoor workouts. It's great for balance. It's great for joint health. It's great for pelvic floor health for women. And it's really an easy workout that you can do. It gets your cardio, it gets your joints, everything's really good for that. I posted that on my Instagram the other day, so you guys can go take a look. Dr. David Peirce, Chief Medical Officer for the City of Houston, thank you so much for getting up early with us and having this conversation.
Absolutely. Thank you.